Hello, all. Welcome back to your English class. I'm Jasmine, and this is the 27th module. In this module, we are going to continue with the chapter The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, written by William Saroyan, taken from the book Snapshots. In the previous module, we have already discussed the textual questions. Now, we're going to continue with some more important questions related to the chapter. Let's move on to the first question. I couldn't believe what I saw, says the narrator. What was so unbelievable, and why? The answer is the narrator saw his cousin Murad sitting on a beautiful white horse. It was unbelievable, for they belonged to poor families, and buying such a beautiful horse was beyond their means. The second question. What two character traits of Murad are hinted at by the narrator in the initial part of the story? The answer: Murad was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except the narrator. He was quite crazy about horses. Secondly, he enjoyed being alive more than anybody else. The third question. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. What part does the narrator hint at? The answer: the narrator refers to their poverty. They had no money, they lived in extreme poverty, and it was difficult to understand how they got food to satisfy their hunger. He frankly admits that every branch of the Garoglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Let's move on to the next question. What traits of the Garoglanian family are highlighted in the story? The answer: the Garoglanian family, though now poor, were famous for their honesty even when they were wealthy. They were proud of their family first, honest next, and after that they believed in right and wrong. None of them would take advantage of anybody in the world. They would not steal. No member of the Garoglanian family could be a thief. Next question. How did the narrator react on seeing the horse and Murad? The horse was magnificent to look at, gave out a lovely smell, and its breathing was quite exciting. Yet he couldn't believe that the horse had anything to do with Murad, because he couldn't have bought it. Next question. What conflicting thoughts passed through the narrator's mind on seeing Murad on a beautiful white horse early one morning? The answer is the narrator was surprised. He knew that his cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse. Since he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it. However, family pride came in the way. He refused to believe that he had stolen it. Next question. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning of capricious and vagrant. Elucidate. The answer: the Garoglanian family had a crazy streak. Murad was considered the natural descendant of Uncle Khosrow, as far as the crazy streak was concerned. Murad's father Zorab was practical and nothing else. But Murad was his son only in flesh. In spirit he was similar to Uncle Khosrow. Next question. Give a brief account of Murad's joyful ride. The answer: Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, "Wazir, run!" The horse stood on its hind legs, snorted, and ran forward at full speed. Murad raced the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch. He crossed the ditch on the horse. When he returned 5 minutes later, he was dripping wet. Next question. I have an understanding with a horse. Horses understand me. I have a way with a horse. How do you think had Morad developed an understanding with a horse, and what was the result? The answer. Morad had been quite tender and affectionate towards the horse. He would put his arms around it, press his nose into the horse's nose, and pat it. It was not easy to tame someone else's horse and get to behave nicely. At first it wanted to run wild. Gradually Morad was able to control the horse and do what he wanted. Even John Biro, the rightful owner, admitted that the horse had become better tempered and stronger than ever. Next question. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. In what context was this observation made, and by whom? Of course, the answer. This observation was made by the farmer John Biro after looking into the mouth of the horse. It matched his horse tooth for tooth. He would have claimed it as his own horse if he had not known their parents or the fame of their family for honesty. The resemblance was so striking that he called it the twin of his horse. Let's move on to the next question. What do you think induced the boys to return the horse to its owner? The answer. The boys were impressed by John Byro's attitude towards their parents and family. He knew their parents very well and so believed whatever the boy said. Secondly, the fame of their family for honesty was well known to him. The boys returned the horse to him for the sake of the family's pride and dignity. Next question. How did Morad help the wounded robin to fly? What does this indicate? The answer is. The narrator noticed Morad trying to cure the hind wing of a young robin which could not fly. He was talking to the bird. After some time he threw the bird into the air. The bird tried hard and almost fell twice. However, at last it flew away high and straight. This incident shows that in spite of having a crazy streak, Morad was kind at heart and gentle towards God's creatures. Now the final question. Why did Farmer John Biro stalk out of the house, slamming the screen door? The answer is. Farmer John Biro visited the narrator's house. He was homesick, sad and lonely. His horse had been stolen for over a month. Instead of showing any sympathy or concern for his loss, Uncle Khosrow repeated his catchword, "It's no harm, pay no attention to it." When John Biro talked about the cost of the horse, Uncle Khosrow commented, "I spit on money." This was too much for John Biro to bear, and so he left the house in disgust. That's all about the lesson. Let's meet again with a new lesson. And I hope the session was helpful for you. Thank you.